Welcome to the Teaching Autism and Special Education Community Podcast. Hi, I'm Nikki, a passionate special educator, autism advocate, resource creator with over a decade of experience, and you may know me as the face behind Teaching Autism. This podcast is your go-to place for practical tips, hands-on strategies, and inspiring and funny stories to support special educators all around the world, whether it's building independence, creating engaging lessons, or finding that elusive work-life balance. I'm here to help you thrive inside and outside of the classroom. Let's dive into today's episode and make a difference together. Okay, let me ask you something. When a child sits still, stays quiet, follows instructions, and does exactly what they're told, is that success? Because for a long time, that's what we were taught. Quiet equals good, obedient equals successful, compliant equals progress. But today we are talking about why compliance is not the goal. And I know that might feel uncomfortable, so stay with me. Hey friends, welcome back to Teaching Autism and Special Education with me, Nikki, your host and the face behind Teaching Autism. Today we're diving into something really juicy that sits at the core of education. What are we actually aiming for? Is it compliance? Is it skill building, regulation, autonomy, safety? All those things are not the same, and especially in special education, because if our only measures of success is compliance, we can accidentally suppress communication instead of supporting it. So let's dive in and unpack this properly. First up, what is compliance? Compliance simply means doing exactly what you're told. So that's it. It doesn't tell us whether the student understood, whether they felt safe, whether they were regulated, whether they agreed, whether it was developmentally appropriate, even whether they had the capacity. It just tells us that they followed the instruction. Now, sometimes following instructions is necessary. Safety rules matter, boundaries matter, but compliance alone does not equal learning. Actually, compliance can hide dysregulation. Some students are extremely compliant. They sit, they nod, they complete their work, they don't argue. But inside, their nervous system might be completely overloaded. They might be masking, anxious, they might freeze, they might be people-pleasing, they might be completely disassociating. Compliance can be a fawn response, especially for students who have learned that saying no leads to conflict. If a student complies because they feel safe and regulated, then that's one thing. But if they comply because they feel afraid, then that is very different. And from the outside, those two can look identical. Now, compliance does not equal understanding. You can have a room full of quiet children who have absolutely no idea what is going on. Compliance can create the illusion of competence. A student can copy, mimic, and follow without truly understanding, especially autistic students who can be very good at pattern spotting and social imitation. So they might look successful, but internally they might be really confused. And if our only marker is they did it when I asked, we miss whether the skill is actually there. Now, this is the big one. Compliance can suppress communication. If a student is distressed, overwhelmed, or confused, and we prioritize compliance over communication, we are actually teaching them something very dangerous, because we teach them that your discomfort doesn't matter, your no doesn't matter, your body signals don't matter, just do it. But regulation and autonomy are essential life skills. We want students to say, this is too loud, I need a break, I don't understand, that feels unsafe. That's not defiance, that is communication. And communication is far more powerful than silent obedience. So, what should the goal be instead? Instead of compliance, the goal becomes safety and regulation and skill development. It becomes understanding and autonomy and that mutual respect. We want students who can follow directions when they have capacity and can ask for help when they don't. We want students who can express their disagreements safely and can repair mistakes. But we also want students who can advocate for their needs. This is far more meaningful than silent compliance. Now, let's be clear, because I can hear you screaming, but Nikki, what about boundaries? This is not about removing boundaries. So safety rules still exist. We don't allow hitting. We don't allow unsafe running. We don't allow harm. But even in those moments, we're not aiming for dominance. We aim for teaching them. So instead of, because I said so, we move towards that's not safe, let's fix it. So firm, calm, and predictable, not power-based, because nobody wants a power struggle. So the long-term view to take of this is that if we train our students to be compliant at all costs, what is actually going to happen later on? And things that you may see are that they may struggle to say no to their peers. They may struggle to report unsafe situations. They may struggle to advocate in the workplace. They may struggle to express boundaries when they're in relationships. Autonomy is protective, and compliance without autonomy is not. And that's the difference that matters. So practically wise, what does this look like? So you can still give instructions, but I want you to try and allow space for clarifying questions, regulation breaks, choice within structure, collaborative problem solving, repairing conversations. So instead of, do it now, try and say, here's what needs to happen. Do you want to start with this part or that part? And that small change there, just in your wording, can make a huge difference. Now, if you were trained in compliance-based systems, this is not an attack on you. It's what most of us were taught. But education is evolving, and so is our learning and understanding of nervous systems and trauma and autonomy and communication. We grow, we all grow. And you're not losing control by moving away from compliance as the main goal. What you're doing is you're actually building deeper skills, and deeper skills last a lot longer. So, wrapping this up, because I know that your time is very valuable and who has any spare time these days? So, why isn't compliance the goal? Because compliance alone doesn't tell us about safety. It doesn't tell us about regulation, about understanding. It doesn't even tell us about autonomy. It just tells us that the child did exactly what they were told to do. But our students deserve more than that. So the next time that you see compliance, just take a step back, observe, and ask yourself, is this a regulated engagement? Or is it just silent survival? And that will change so much for you. All right, friends, I hope you found this episode helpful. Thanks for listening, and I will speak to you again soon.